to be live tonight hosting this event in partnership between the Virtual Telescope Project and Telescope Live. Something very unique is happening because we are going to spot this very beautiful comet, the one we have been waiting for so long now, in real time. We will be using different telescopes, one of them in Italy, another one in Spain, part of the networks of the Virtual Telescope Project and Telescope Live. I want to thank in particular our very precious and important partner, Telescope Live, particularly Marco Rocchetto, Mentore Giorgetti and Ernesto Guido, part of their team, for working together with me to organize this event. I want to remind you that Telescope Live, our important partner, is offering several professional grade telescopes all around the world, just available under the best, wonderful, darkest skies of the world, and I strongly suggest you to have a look on their website. Later I will provide you with this information to join, connect and visit their website. So I want to thank really all of them for making possible once again to run this joint event. So basically we are going to observe the comet we have been looking forward just to spot together, while it is at its minimum distance from our home planet, the Earth. So I'm really ready to start sharing with you live images coming from our instruments. Keep in mind that tonight, while the comet is at its minimum distance from the Earth, about 42 millions of kilometers, there is also a very bright moon up there in the sky, just spreading its huge natural light all around, and it is of course strongly affecting observation, so it is far from being ideal, the condition we have over there. Anyway, I want to start sharing live images because you never know what the weather will do later, being clear both in Italy and Spain. The first image I want to share with you is just something from, let me check, something from Italy, if I can. Here we have our first image, just taking care to share with you the screenshot of the live feed coming from the remote telescope we have in Italy. By the way, I am in Rome, while my friends of Telescope Live are in London. Our telescope is in Italy, and their telescope, part of their network, is in Spain. By the way, they have many other telescopes, as I said, in Chile, in Australia, and now in New Mexico. Really a lot of things to discover with our partner Telescope Live. So friends, here we are just having live images of this beautiful comet C2022 A3 ZTF. As I said, right now this comet is at its minimum distance from our planet. I want to start just sharing these images coming live from Italy, my friends, and I also want to adjust a few things in our images to make sure you get the best experience. Just let me adjust the window showing the comet. Keep in mind, my friends, that everything is happening live. So sometimes we have to wait, sometimes we have to wait just because, as I said, we are live, so there is the internet connection involved, and while we are in these very technological times, sometimes we have to wait because these are remote robotic telescopes, and the internet is our way to control them. Anyway, I would say I'm happy with what we are seeing. So this is, friends, the comet we have been waiting for so long. Comet C2022 A3 ZTF. This hazy world was discovered about 1 year ago. It was discovered in March, the 2nd March 2022, from the Palomar Observatory in California. on the behalf of the Zwicky Transient Facility survey, just looking for transient objects in the sky when they spotted this intriguing comet, and it was clear since the beginning that this object had nice opportunities to show interestedly in the sky. Well, we were pretty sure this comet could hit. I mean, the naked eye visibility, something we have read a lot these days, saying, for example, that this comet was going to be very obvious in the sky, but of course this is not the case, because the comet has been visible to the naked eye, but only to very trained eyes under perfect skies, because it is just barely visible to the naked eye. While I'm here, I also want to share now an image from Spain provided by our technological partners Telescope Live. And by the way, if you join them, you can even have access to a dataset offering stunning images of this comet. You can download them and you can work on them on your own computer. Just visit telescope.live and with your browser, and you will discover what our partner is offering. And by the way, they are also offering a promo to join their network, provided you show that you discovered them via this live event, and there is a promo code to be inserted that is virtual telescope. Go there, telescope.live, sorry, with your browser and discover what they are offering. And I want to share with you, as I said, images from their telescope in Spain. So I'm just going to switch on the other telescope. So jumping from Italy, our telescope here in Italy, part of the Virtual Telescope project, is about 100 kilometers south of Rome, while here it is large field of view image from their telescope in Spain. Now we are using a telescope part of the Telescope Live network. As you can see, the exposure is ongoing. On the bottom left, you see a countdown just saying how many seconds are left before we have the 60-second exposure done. So a matter of 20 seconds now. They upgraded their imaging devices days ago, so we are somewhat just having some kind of first light with this amazing telescope. Here we are using a large field of view, 10 centimeters large, very fast optics, so a very large field of view. On the contrary, our telescope in Italy is just offering you a close-up, and these two visions are completing each other this way. One telescope, our telescope in Italy, just offering a close-up, while here we have a larger, much larger field of view. And here we are with this comet, my friends, coming live to you, as you can see, from Spain. So, my friends, having fun with these things, with this technology is always amazing, as I said, and sharing live images coming from this beautiful telescope is a privilege for me. But again, I want to thank my friends and partner of Telescope Live while this event is hosted on the platform of the Virtual Telescope project. As I said at the time I'm speaking, this comet is at its minimum distance from us, something we can call a flyby, for example, and as I said, it is 42 millions of kilometers from us, while this comet already reached the minimum distance from the Sun earlier in January, on January 12, when it was at the so-called perihelion, that is the minimum distance of the comet from the Sun. Just taking another image. Again, we are starting, but I want to switch while waiting for the new image coming from Spain. I want to switch back to our telescope in Italy. Here we are, as you see, we are just sharing a close-up on the cometary nucleus. Happy? I could show these two complementary sides. Lot of fun, I must say. It's fantastic to have access to this advanced but easy to use technology. I am sitting in my office here in Rome at 5 a.m. in the morning, okay? You are somewhere on this beautiful planet at your own time zone. Despite this, we are sharing live images from these two telescopes. They are in Italy, in Spain, and they are enjoying the night sky. Even if the moon, a very bright moon, almost full moon, is out there just spreading a lot of light, making, as I said, these observing conditions far from being ideal, but still we are really having such a beautiful experience, a beautiful sight of our comet. Switching back to the image we just captured from Spain. Let me start another image here. And as I said, you can visit www.virtualtelescope.eu to learn more about the Virtual Telescope project, offering live streaming, sharing the cosmos in real time since 2006. So we have been around now for quite a lot of years, but you can also visit our partner website, Telescope Live. Just visit telescope.live. I also want to thank the other technological partners of the Virtual Telescope project, and they are Unitron Italia Instruments, Software Bisq, and C-Web, of course, also Telescope Live. We plan, by the way, to host more and more live events together, also exploiting the opportunity offered by the network of Telescope Live with telescopes all around the planet in both the northern and southern hemisphere. So they have telescope in Spain, Europe, Chile, South America, New Mexico, North America, USA, and Australia, just covering basically the entire planet, the entire cosmos, I would say, while we are adding our telescopes in Italy, in central Italy. We are making available a few more telescopes in the very near future. So stay tuned while we are tracking this beautiful comet C2022 A3ZTF. This hazy world now visiting the inner solar system, and of course, as an effect of the solar radiation, of course, the ice on the surface of this small world is just sublimating, releasing dust, releasing gas outside, which under the effects of the solar radiation is just showing tails. By the way, I want to share with you an image provided by my friends at Telescope Live, taken with this instrument, the one we are using now, under better, that is without such a strong interference by the moon, just to give you an idea about the beauty of this comet with its tail. Look here, this image is part of the dataset you can actually retrieve via Telescope Live once you join their network, as I said a few times now. Look at the beautiful structure of this comet. Now that we are sharing archive images taken a few days ago without such a very strong interference by the moon, my friends. Now, going back to share again live image from Italy, and I also want to prepare to share with you something we could capture of this comet earlier, before it reached the climax of this event. For example, I want to share these images with you, taken during last summer, when the comet was far from being bright and spectacular as it is now, but while approaching our sun, it was already showing the typical structure of a comet, that is a coma and a tail. This one, as I said, was taken in July, so months ago, and it was always great and fascinating to document, to follow up a comet during its journey around the sun while it is approaching, so hopefully increasing in just brightening and developing its legendary features, particularly the tail. Then you enjoy the comet at its best, and then you can observe the comet while it is leaving us. By the way, it has been supposed that this comet could have had visited us in the past, about 50,000 years ago, at the Neanderthal time. This is just a possibility, a chance, considering the orbit we have. That is our knowledge of its path around the sun, and this orbit is evolving. You can learn about this around, if you check the right sources, just like the JPL at NASA. You can learn about the orbit of this comet, how it is just developing. So it is sure that this comet is visiting us from the outer space, the outer solar system, and it is always fascinating to remind that comets played a very important role, just making possible life on our planet, offering us water and the right important molecules for life to develop. So we are very grateful to comets, and if you consider them in the past, they were just seen as very bad news in the sky. This has changed over the millennia, because from there, very bad news coming, now we believe that comets are responsible of life, a much different and much better meaning, I believe. Another image I want to share, taken less than 1 month ago, when the comet was already showing at its best. Here it is. And you can see here the tail, by the way. And also I want to share another image taken a few days later, 14th of January, with the tail now visible much better. Meantime, I'm still asking our telescopes in Italy and Spain to take images so that we can share and see regularly live images. This event is hosted in partnership between the Virtual Telescope Project and Telescope Live. As you can see, there is a very nice tail here, but I also want to share with you this thing that is a quick animation showing a comet moving in about 20 minutes. I always love seeing these things. Meantime, we are still capturing live images. Here we are. You can see the telescope in Spain is in the middle of its countdown, with 10 seconds or so left before we see the new image from the telescope. How great every time is for me to share and show these things. Look. At the same time, the imaging session is up and running in Italy as well. This is the latest image we have from our telescope in Italy. And the new image is uploading in a few seconds. Image after image, in particular, thanks to the telescope in Italy showing such a close-up, you can see that image after image there is a little shift of the stars on the background, because the comet is moving and the telescope is tracking it, and this is why stars in these close-up images are showing us a very little trail. I will wait for this more seconds, this a handful of seconds left, just to show you how this is happening. Look, the next image will share a little shift in the stars. Look, okay? Because as I said, the comet is moving, we are tracking it, and the motion, the apparent motion on the comet is pretty evident because it is at the minimum distance from us, making its speed, of course, a bit more evident. How beautiful it is. Let's ask even the telescope in Spain to take a new image. Meantime, I want to restart showing you what we were saying, because I also have another very beautiful image to share with you, taken a few days ago, with a wonderful tail visible. Okay, there was much less impact from the lunar glare, which is now huge, with the moon being basically full in a few days. Quick view again from telescope in Spain. Let's adjust, as you see, in real time, contrast, brightness, everything is happening live. We are taking images. These are raw images. They are not the most spectacular, as we could share if we could have the time to carefully process them. So these are raw images we are sharing with you, no less than the very real imaging acquisition session. You are virtually sitting in front of the console controlling the telescope with us. These are images. They are coming right away out of the camera without any process. We are doing no image processing. So this is perhaps the most primitive image we can see, but for us this has a very special value because the virtual telescope not only wants to bring to you science and beauty of the cosmos, but we want also share with you the experience of us, the astronomers, handling and playing with our toys, our instruments, as I said. Now back to our last archive image, because I also want to share with you this other beautiful animation. I really like it, showing the comet gently moving with such an elegance across the sky, my friends. Look, I'm never tired to spot these things. How beautiful it is, everything here. Now back to our live images. First sight back from Spain, asking the telescope to take new image. And also, let's have a look from Italy. Here we are. Same comet from very different locations on the planet. As I said, these are images of comet C 2022-A3 ZTF, imaged live via our telescopes in Italy, belonging part of the Virtual Telescope Project Network, and images from Spain taken with the telescope part of the network of the Telescope Live team. And I really want to thank Telescope Live, one of our technological partners, for making their telescopes around the globe available, because those amazing telescopes are under the best darkest sky of the planet, and you can easily access them. Just visit telescope.live website and you can learn how to join their network. And if you want to join, there is also a promo code virtual telescope, just one long single word to use as a promo code via their telescope, where their website at telescope.live. Just visit telescope.live with your browser and also learn about the virtual telescope project, what we are doing to bring astronomy to you. Just visit www.virtualtelescope.eu, and by the way, in a few more days we will bring to you something new again live, that is the full moon, the next full moon rising above the legendary skyline of Rome, among perhaps the most famous monuments worldwide. Anyway, we are enjoying a cosmic monument that is comet C2022A3, again here from Italy. Meantime, I asked the telescope in Spain to start taking another image. Look, I want to underline this again and again, the completely different approach we have on these two telescopes. The one in Italy is just giving you a close-up on the comet, and the telescope in Spain, part of the Telescope Live network, is giving us a much wider field of view image. Of course, Telescope Live is offering even a completely different set, very interesting set of telescopes, offering very different specifications, just fitting your needs. Waiting for a few more seconds, my friends. Just making clear, really, we have the new image as we have now. Again, I want to share this data set coming from our friends at Telescope Live, showing this comet a few nights ago when the moon was not so strong with its light, and you can easily see the structure of the tail, of the tails, I would say, the Ion tail on the left and the larger evident dusty tail on the right. Now back to our telescope in Italy, up and running. While the comet is lower and lower, we decided to run this live feed late in the European night, because the moon was just going to slowly set, perhaps limiting its impact on the vision. Again, let's move back to the telescope in Spain. I just started a new exposure, as you can see on the bottom left, seeing the blue bar running, that is a countdown. While waiting for the last few seconds, I switch back to the telescope in Italy. Both the telescopes are taking live images, my friends, and we are sharing with you the raw images, exactly the images coming from the telescope and from the camera. You are sharing not only the live view of the comet, but I would say also the live experience of the astronomer. Just waiting for the new image to show. And here we are. Always very beautiful for us to bring to you these things, my friends. Now we are taking more and more images. I also want to try testing something different on the telescope in Spain that is trying to get a much longer exposure. To see if we can spot different features, because when you are imaging a comet, you have to take into account that the comet is showing something bright, that is the core where the nucleus is. The nucleus is so small with comets that you can basically see just a dot of light. You cannot see the nucleus in detail. You have to go on site with a space mission, something which has happened many times now, by the way. But from Earth, you can, the dimension of the nucleus is so small that it is basically a dot of light. But so you don't see the nucleus, but you can see what is just around the nucleus, the so-called false nucleus, okay, which is basically bright, as in this case, but all around there is a much larger and much fainter structure, like the tails, for example. And when you are taking an image, you can choose a short exposure time, just capturing the brightest part of the comet, or you can use a longer exposure light, just capturing, the fainter regions. And right now, back to the telescope in Spain, I decided to take a much longer exposure. Here we are. Let's wait now for a 120-second long exposure, twice the time we were sharing earlier. And let's hope we will. I did a right choice. I do expect a white image at the first glance, because I had to adjust the minimum and maximum parameters. This is normal because this was set to work on the previous images. Now, with such a longer exposure time, as you can see, we have perhaps a deeper vision of this comet, and even such a much larger field of view, which is much more tolerant against the cometary motion. With such a longer exposure, we are having trails. The telescope, even also the telescope in Spain, of course, is just tracking at the cometary rate. So stars are trailing, as I say, that the comet is not trailing because we are tracking it. This is something we love on the advanced telescopes we are using together. Check what is happening from Italy. Of course, the comet is the same, but still we love the idea to combine these different locations. And of course, there is an obvious reason why you really want to have telescopes in different regions, because if you are clouded out at your own location, you can always hope that the other telescopes are under much better skies. Having fun, a lot of fun, at least it's a joy to work with these very, very beautiful telescopes. Meantime, and I want to share we asked the telescope in Spain to take another 2-minute long exposure, and we will wait. I remind you about the opportunity to visit the Virtual Telescope Project website, www.virtualtelescope.eu, to learn what is just coming, what are the next opportunities we are offering for you to explore with us the cosmos in real time. But I also invite you to visit telescope.live website, showing what our partner Telescope Live is offering to you to make your own very personal experience. You will find many tutorials on their website to discover how you can use their telescopes and their tools at their best. I really like the job my friends at Telescope Live are doing, and what they are doing fits very well with what we are doing here at the Virtual Telescope Project. So I'm happy that we are working together and we are running together this live feed using telescopes belonging to both our networks. While I'm speaking, of course, I have my friend Ernesto Guido, the Telescope Live team, just keeping a very close eye on the weather conditions as well on the telescope in Spain, while I'm doing the same here with our telescope in Italy. So in particular, I want to thank Ernesto really for his time, his experience, and of course for being here with me while I'm speaking. Ernesto is here as well. He is in London right now, but this is happening because of course there are people from Telescope Live working together with me, even if I am the one speaking, of course. New image, new beauty, new emotion, spotting this icy world quickly leaving the inner solar system and now being at its minimum distance from us. 42 millions of kilometers. This is the minimum distance of the comet from the Earth at the flyby time. For the record, the flyby happened about 12 years ago, but we are still there and we are happy to run this the flyby time. While the comet had its minimum distance from the Sun, the so-called perihelion, on January 12. At that time it was, as I said, the minimum distance from the Sun. Perihelion, the minimum distance from the Sun, is the turning point because the comet has been approaching the Sun for most of the time after the discovery. Then it reached the so-called perihelion, and after that turning point the comet is on its way leaving the inner solar system, and perhaps on its journey bringing the comets on a route that will never make possible for these comets to come back. A lot has been said about this comet, which is the brightest comet we have around now, but of course saying it is the brightest comet now, it does not mean it is a bright comet in general, because it is this comet now, the comet ZTF is it's just barely visible to the naked eye, provided you are a truly experienced observer and provided you are under a very dark sky, something which is not possible right now because of the moon. You cannot just switch off the moon, and as I said, no matter this, even under the darkest skies, it will be just a pale spot of fuzzy light. So when you read that this is a very bright comet, well, that is perhaps too much to be said. We had much better, I would say, please comment ZTF, do not blame me, but we had much brighter comets over the last few years. I remember July 2022 when comet Neowise really shocked us, being about 100 times brighter than this, and it was very easy to spot even from the city of Rome, my friends. New image coming right now from Spain. And then about 1 year ago, we also had comet Leonard, which offered us a nice show before it disintegrated. And now this new beautiful image. Look, the sky is sometimes darker image after image because the moon is setting, and its impact on the image itself, the light, the impact of the lunar glare on the images is slowly fading. I love the idea to work in tandem on two very different telescopes placed in such very different regions of the planet. Italy this way in this case, and Spain. You can do even better when you can control telescopes which are thousands of kilometers far away. During the winter, for example, you can work together. You can have two telescopes working at the same time, sharing images at the same time from Europe and US. And if you are observing, for example, a close object like an asteroid, you can see that when you see the same asteroid at the same time through telescopes so far away, you see the asteroid in different positions of the sky, something which is called parallax. An effect we will try to exploit better perhaps in a future event in partnership with the Telescope Live. It's always an opportunity to discover this kind of things after all. It's so great that we are running smoothly such a live feed with many thousand people connected from all around the planet. It's always amazing for me to see how much curiosity we have every time a comet, an asteroid, a supernova is around. It's a joy for us doing this job to see how much interest, how many people want to see, want to learn, and we are here to hopefully help you doing that. Meantime, a new image is coming from Spain. The countdown is up and running. I want to show again, while we are waiting, an image taken from Spain a few days ago with this comet showing, as you can see, its tails so beautifully without any lunar glare. This image was taken from Spain with the same telescope we are using in real time, kindly made available by our technological partner Telescope Live. And this is the imaging console of the same telescope. While we are waiting for a few more seconds before we see the new image. Happy to offer such a window on the cosmos. The virtual telescope has been around doing this since 2006, actually offering something never seen before, the opportunity to explore in real time the cosmos under the guide of a professional astronomer skilled in science communication. And we are very proud to see how this is now so much considered and how huge is the reputation of the virtual telescope today. starting at 3 minute long exposure on the Spain telescope, while we are slowly approaching the end of this live feed after running for 45 minutes now. And I am very proud that we could bring to you this experience. While we wait, I want to try to go back to the Italian site. Here we are with the trails, short trails we see in the stars, because as I said, we are tracking the comet silently moving out there. While we are seeing these live images from Italy, showing a close-up on the comet, we are also offering a large field of view experience, a large field image via Telescope Live with their large field of view telescope in Spain, and we are waiting for such a long exposure to show. Just 70 seconds left before we have the longer, deeper image we are trying to collect together. And as I said, we are going to close this live feed after the deeper image we are collecting from Spain. Now the comet is slowly setting, but we really had perfect imaging sessions with the only impact, huge actually impact of the lunar glare, but you know, you can do nothing. And after all, we love the moon as well. This new image is coming from Spain. Of course, I expect a wide screen because I need to adjust to the new exposure time, the thresholds. Here we are, look. How beautiful it is. All done in real time on real-time images. Look. I am carefully adjusting image parameters to show at its best this comet via the telescope we are using in Spain, kindly made available by our technological partner Telescope Live. Just visit them at telescope.live. With this image, I would like to close this very successful live feed, offering a final view from our telescope in Italy as well. And we are going to close the imaging session in Italy as well, now that we had the opportunity to show you this amazing experience. We already shared the comet at its perihelion in January, and now we are offering the live feed covering the comet C2022 A3 ZTF while it is at its minimum distance from the Earth, but already on its way leaving our inner solar system, my friends. Again, a large field of view from image from Rome. Let me see if I can just put together. Wait, if I can do this. I want to try at least. What I'm doing here, if I succeed, let me see if I can. Now you will see what I'm doing. I'm trying to make the comet visible. At the same time here, on the left, the comet imaged from Spain, thanks to the telescope we are using there, kindly made available by Telescope Live. And on the right, you see the comet as imaged in Italy. Perhaps you can recognize the same stars, just giving you the clear evidence that we are observing at the same time. The comet is 42 million kilometers far away, so there is not such a huge difference, but still there is a difference. Let me take images, a new image from Spain, just for this. 30 seconds. Just to see if we can appreciate even better this side-by-side experience. At the end, it is fun to experiment with this as well. I'm really enjoying this together with you. As you can see, now the image is very dark, of course, because we are using a much shorter exposure on the telescope in Spain. And look, they are basically the same field of view, because while we are using telescopes in Italy and Spain, so they are relatively distant, the comet is so far away that the different point of view, Italy versus Spain, is basically showing no obvious parallax. And now a satellite is also on the upper right in the images we are taking from Italy. So my friends, with this hopefully intriguing compared image, I'm just saying how happy I was to share with you this live feed. And again, I want to thank all of you for joining from all around the planet. Many thousand people joined this live feed to spot Comet C 2022 A3ZTF live. This was possible thanks to the partnership between the Virtual Telescope Project and Telescope Live. I want to thank Marco Rocchetto, Mentore Giorgetti, Ernesto Guido, the Virtual or the Telescope Live team, for working together with me, Gianluca Masi, Virtual Telescope Project, to bring to you this experience. I strongly recommend you to visit telescope.live website, and you will learn a lot about their amazing network of telescopes, offering a telescope under the best skies of the world, in Italy, in Europe, in South America, North America, and Australia. And you can also visit www.virtualtelescope.eu website to learn what is just ready to happen at the Virtual Telescope Project, bringing to you the next cosmic show. It has been a joy to be here. Hope you had fun. I hope that your time with us was fun and really you enjoyed the experience with us. Thank you very, very much for your time. Keep looking up and be sure that new opportunities to explore the cosmos live will come soon again from the partnership between the Virtual Telescope Project and Telescope Live. Thank you very much. Take care. And as I said, keep looking up. Bye.